Forecast. The weather map today is absolutely remarkable, especially for the West Coast. High temperature yesterday was 95 degrees in San Francisco. San Francisco is about 70 degrees every single day in October with fog. But yesterday was 95, and today, this is absolutely remarkable. AccuWeather says the high will be 87 degrees. That's what it says in the Sun-Times. And the Tribune says the high will be 72 degrees. I've never seen such a contrast in forecasts. Los Angeles is going into the upper 90s today. Temperatures are going to be around 100 degrees tomorrow, and upper 90s again Thursday, October 1st. And then a sundowner will be coming around each evening. Sundowners are strong windstorms that occur on the coast right in the middle of a Santa Ana wind event. And this is going to be a weak sundowner. Winds will only be between 25 and 35 miles per hour, which is a windy day, a very windy day for Chicago, not really much of a storm. The West Coast is under a ridge in the jet stream, and that's responsible for this incredibly hot weather, especially this time of the year. And what's remarkable about this ridge is that it's going all the way up into Canada and even Alaska. This is unbelievable. It's going all the way up. The fire situation is just going to take off. And it's all those theories about the smoke blocking out the sunlight seem to be slugged up over here, because there's smoke all over the place and temperatures are just brutal. Meanwhile, Mexico City has highs in the low 60s today, 62 degrees all the way down there. And this is just a backwards weather map. And I saw something on the San Francisco National Weather Service website that it's something that you would never see. It sounds like it's part of a novel, where it says this is a scientific forecast discussion where you see very complicated terms, and all of a sudden it says we will be going into fantasy land possibly next week, but what more could you expect in the year 2020? And it goes to describe a possible tropical depression, and I'm not exactly sure what the fantasy is, but the meteorologists out in San Francisco are having lots of fun today with whatever is going on over there. Heat advisories, they never really get to issue any advisories out in San Francisco, I think, but except for a dense fog advisory. Today there's heat advisories in effect for much of California, and Las Vegas only has highs in the low to mid 90s. Las Vegas yesterday was 92 degrees. Now, here's another big thing. There's an enormous difference. The whole weather map is different between the Chicago Tribune, the Sun-Times, and the New York Times. It's all, I don't even know what to believe here, because you have even just simple, for Chicago, for example, record high today, 99 degrees, set back in 1953 for Chicago. That's very hot. And Tom Skilling confirms that in a question which one of the readers asked from Tom Downs: have there ever been consecutive 90-degree temperatures this late in the season? And he says, yes, in 1953, September 28th into the 29th. On the 28th, the high was 92 degrees. And that's on the 28th. And the 29th, the high was 99 degrees. AccuWeather says the record high for today is 92 degrees. I just figured that out. I think AccuWeather has their dates mixed up, and they are publishing a forecast or something going on for September 28th, and that's the Sun-Times, and the Tribune is, or they're taking their temperatures at different spots. The National Weather Service for San Francisco is more similar to the Chicago Tribune, and there's lots of other stuff going on out in the West. Denver, Colorado is seeing a 20-degree rise between yesterday and today. Highs in the low 60s yesterday in Denver, low 80s today. Much of the West, not even the West, not just the West Coast, but really all the way out, even Montana, and these places they're seeing a 20-degree rise in temperatures, and it's quite remarkable. Although that happens over there every now and then, but we also see that the intense 100-degree heat that occurs over the desert is confined to just like Phoenix in Arizona. It kind of then dissipates into the 90s, but it extends, it's not confined in terms of it extending eastward into the Los Angeles area. And there are heat advisories in effect again for Los Angeles. On the East Coast, anywhere from the I-95 corridor from the Carolinas going all the way up to Maine can expect 2 to 4 inches of rain today, and 1 to 2 inches of that rain will be falling within a 6-hour period. So that's flash flooding criteria, and 2 to 4 inches is just plain flooding criteria. Just New Orleans, Louisiana is seeing a 17-degree drop in temperatures today. Temperature was 92 degrees yesterday, only 75 today. I'm sure there's plenty of other stuff, especially if we get into the ridge in Alaska. But for the Chicago area, yesterday, parts of the area, well, actually to our west, you know what, I just realized when I made a mistake by Phoenix. It's the hundreds are extending west to Los Angeles, not east. Okay. But in Chicago, well to our west, more than a half inch of rain fell. In the Chicago area, 1/4 of an inch to a half an inch. And then as you head into Indiana, it was less than 1/4 of an inch. We'll get into the Chicago forecast coming up in my next recording.